Hello, everyone. My name is Miss Youssef, and I teach Math 8 and Algebra 1. And I want to welcome to the 2021 school year. So, here's just a little bit of my background. So, I've been teaching for 13 years. I do have a Bachelor of Arts in Mathematics and a Master in math education. I do have two kids. I have a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old, and I do have two pets. I have a turtle and I have a goldfish. So here is my favorites. So I do enjoy math. My favorite colors are black and white, and my favorite food is Egyptian cuisine, being that I'm already Middle Eastern. I don't have a favorite sport, and my favorite season to enjoy is summer. The favorite place for vacation for me would be in Ocean City, Maryland. So here are some expectations from me as a teacher. Um, so I do have teacher expectations, I do have student expectations, and some parents' expectations. I'm just going to go ahead and focus on the student expectations. Um, I just remember that I always want you to try your best. Make sure you participate in activities, and it's very, very important that we ask you to please have your cameras on at all times. We have to make sure that you're engaged fully in the lesson. So I cannot make sure of that unless everyone have their cameras on. So I'm asking you please to make sure you have your cameras on at all times. This is considered to be a participation grade. So I'm gonna ask everyone, please, starting from next week, everyone need to have their cameras on. Make sure you're on time, so that way you don't miss a do now or anything like that, and you don't miss attendance when I do take it. And be prepared to learn, and make sure you respect others, and make sure you complete all the assignments. Now, I will go over the grading policy, and we will talk a little bit about independent assignments. So anything that you do independently and not together as a class live, um, that will count towards your grades, okay? Because we do have a slightly different grading policy this year, being that we're in that situation that we're in right now. And make sure that you demonstrate an appropriate behavior. I don't think this would become any issue for our class. All my students are behaving very good so far, which is very good. I'm just more concerned about the camera being on at all times. I really do encourage everyone uh, to have their cameras on, especially if they need to earn this participation grade. Here are some parents' expectations. Make sure you provide your child with the supplies that they need for the class. Make sure you communicate with the teacher if any concerns, any misclarification, you need to ask about a grade or something not clear to you. Please feel free to email me at any time. I do respond to my emails 24/7. Um, just make sure you encourage your child to do his or her best, and make sure you reinforce appropriate school behavior. As a teacher, I'm sure I'm going to be treating every student with respect and dignity, and just because you treat people the same way you want to be treated. Um, and I'm going to try my best to create an independent learner. Um, and make sure to provide a safe learning environment for all students. And I'm going to try my best also to keep communication lines open between through emails and phones. Okay, so I'm going to start calling homes next week, making sure that all students have the supplies they need, and also making sure the cameras are on, so make sure that all students are engaged. So here we have some of the supplies that the student need. I do ask and encourage them to please have a special notebook for math, only designated for math. That is very important. Of course, in math, you have to use pencils, not pens, because we will be doing mistakes and erasing a lot. So it's very, I do encourage you, it's better to have a pencil rather than pen. And obviously, since we're doing this virtually, we need to have a headphone and a Chromebook So it could be a Chromebook from the school that you've borrowed, or maybe it could be your own personal computer. I do prefer the headphones because that way, if maybe some siblings are in the same area, then that way we can avoid all the noise and just every student will be focused. And obviously, if you can provide some highlighters, especially when we're doing word problems and open-endeds, it would be good to have highlighters. It's a great tool to keep notes organized. So I do encourage you to get one if you don't have. So attendance is very important. The classes starts at 8:30, so you make sure you log into my class by 8:30 each morning. I do give a 5 minutes grace period. Maybe you're having problems with the Chromebook, or maybe with the internet, or with your own computer. So I do give 5 minute grace period, and I wait for everyone to join. Then we start sharp at 8:35. Um, the Google Classroom link, you find that in the banner, so I can just show you exactly where that is. So right here, for example, this is my first period class. As you can see, that link right there, that's what they click in order for them to join the meeting. So I do teach, as I said, Algebra 1 and Math 8. I do have 2 classes of Algebra 1 and 1 class of Math 8. So my very first class is Algebra 1, and that starts at 8:30, and that's where the link they click. So any classroom, doesn't matter what subject, any Google Classroom, you're going to find the link in that banner right there, okay? So make sure you attend all classes, make sure you complete all assignment posted in Google Classroom daily. I cannot emphasize more on this because I have a lot of students submitting stuff already late, and it makes it difficult for me to go back and revisit each assignment in order for me to put those grades in. So I do encourage them to please make sure you do your assignments and your work on time. Very important. If you want full credit, make sure you do it on time. When I give any assignment, it's usually not due until the end of the day. So they have until 11:59 p.m. to do this assignment. So I do please, parents, if you can emphasize on this at home, I would really greatly appreciate it. Um, Make sure also that if a student is going to be absent for whatever reason, maybe they have a doctor appointment, or maybe, God forbid, something, a funeral to go to or something like that, just make sure you let us know in advance so we can let them know of any announcements or any reminders that they have to take care of. Also make sure that you are responsible for making up any missing assignments, and you have no more than 1 week after. I'm not really going to focus so much on this, but if you do have something missing, they can easily access that from Google Classroom again. So this is what our class look like. If they go next to the stream, they go to classwork, and they're going to see all the listed assignments that they have to do and the due date for each assignment. So if they miss anything, they just go there and it will tell them if they turn it in or if it's missing. Anything missing, that's what they have to work on and turn it in. So this is, but just going back to attendance do matter. Going to school every day is very important. Okay, especially with math class, you don't want to miss a lesson, because if you do, then the next day you will come and you'll be like totally lost. So it's better if you try your best. I know things happen sometimes, so you always need to try your best to show up to class every day. Okay. So here is our daily agenda. That's exactly what we do in our live session. So first, the students do the do now. So first, I give 5 minute grace period, as I said before, and then once the 5 minutes are over, then they start with the do now, which is 7 minutes. And while they're doing the do now, I take attendance. And then after this, I ask if they have any questions regarding the homework or any other questions that they need me to answer. And then after this, I go ahead and introduce the lesson for about 15 minutes. And then to make sure they understood the concept, I do a guided practice. So I let them try a few problems, and that might take about 20 minutes. Again, this is not a rigid time. It might changes depending on the lesson, depending on every day. So things do happen and things do come up. So we try to stick to that time schedule, but sometimes it does alternate depending on the student need. And after this, they do independent practice, which is I give them work on the whiteboard, and then I see if they got it right or wrong, and then we discuss any misconception or clarification. And then at the end, I give them like an exit ticket, and I ask them to make sure that what lesson they learned today and what can they learn from it. And that's about 7 minutes. But pretty much every day there is an exit ticket for them to do, so I can see and assess, um, and I can assess how many of you got the concept or not. Okay. So right here, this is very important. As I said, this year we have a totally different grading policy since we're doing this virtually. So we do have tests, and they count for 20% of their grade, and we need to have at least two, meaning that we could have more. So we need to have at least two per cycle, but it is okay to have three or four, depending on the teacher or depending on the class. We are going to also have quizzes, and those are 40% of the grade. That is a huge percentage. So if a student failed a quiz, I do give a retake, but it's only one time, and I give them a whole week to do the retake. So if they get less than 70, then they are allowed to do a retake, but it's only one time. So I asked them to use this one chance wisely and take their time when they're answering the question. That's why I give them a whole week to do it. And we need to have at least 6 of those. And then we have something called independent assignments. So anything they do on their own, that counts. So that could be a practice work, it could be homework, it could be classwork. Anything that they do on their own without the teacher, that is going to count for 30%, and we need to have at least 10 of those. And then participation, cameras on, engaged, um, making sure you're showing up to class on time, any kind of discussion, any kind of participation that you have when I ask a question and you're answering, this is participation, and that is 10% of the grade, and that it depends on the teacher decision. And then we have the curriculum. So this is what we discuss in our class. So we use Savas. It used to be called Pearson, but now it's called Savas. Savas Realize, and they know exactly what to do to log in. I already gave them their username and password, and that's what it will look like on their screen if they were to log in right here on that picture right there. And I know they did not receive any physical copies of the book, that we're waiting on further instruction from our supervisor. Once we're ready to go ahead and give a physical copy, then I will most surely tell all the scholars to do so. But they can access the book online along with our book, or our program that we use, which is Savas Realize. We have another program which is iReady, and this is like a supplemental program, and it's intervention program as well. So it kind of tells us the performance level of the student in math, and then if the student performs at a 5th grade level and they're in 8th grade class, then the program kind of fills in those gaps and help the students grow academically to reach the proper grade level that they should be at. So it's like a diagnostic assessment that we give 3 times a year to monitor the student progress. And based on their progress, it creates individual lessons for them. And it is encouraged that they have to log into iReady and spend at least 45 minutes per week. Okay. And they also have some kind of learning games. I believe next week we are starting our first diagnostic for iReady, and it tells us um, the their progress and the level they're standing on. And then after this, we assign, well, kind of iReady itself assign them lessons individually based on their level that they performed, and it kind of helps and fill those gaps in order for them to reach 8th grade easily. So, I think I covered everything pretty much regarding our Google Classroom. And if you do want to contact me, my office hours are Mondays through Tuesdays, from 2:15 to 2:51, and Thursdays and Fridays from 2:15 to 2:51. And I no office hours on Wednesday because we do have a professional development day, which happens or take place on Wednesday. But you can always email me at any time and I will answer my email as soon as I get a chance. I don't think I will respond late because I do have the app on my phone and kind of I can see automatically any emails that I receive, and I will make sure to get in touch with you as soon as I can. Okay, so please do not hesitate to email me at any time with any questions or any concerns that you might have. I would really appreciate it because this is, again, this is an ongoing communication. So we need to have a partnership in your child's education. So if you're struggling or your child is struggling, do not understand something, encourage them to please join the office hours as listed, or they can email me at any time. I would really greatly appreciate it. So that's it for today. I hope to see you soon in person, and I hope to see all my lovely students soon back in the classroom. Thank you, and be safe and have a good, lovely day. Thank you.